What's up, everybody? Gremlin here with the Gremlin Gamer. And, well, as probably everybody knows by now, Destiny 2 is pretty much on its deathbed. And it sounds like Destiny in general may be on its deathbed. Because Bungie itself may be on its deathbed. And I kind of just wanted to put my 2 cents in on this for the simple fact that I am an OG Destiny player. I played the Destiny 1 beta before it even came out. I played all three characters and basically maxed out all three during the beta time, or at least, I think you could do to level 12 or something like that. Anyways, the point is, I've been playing this game and this series for a really long time, and I've seen its ups and downs. Trust me, its initial release was a bit of a blunder because people finished the main campaign in about 15 hours and were like, okay, now what? And then it just kind of turned into a grind fest that was also heavily dependent on you having other people to play with. There was certain things that should have been match made that for a long time were not match made. But what was really adding insult to injury is when the first DLC came out. It was literally just a bunch of campaigns that were using the existing maps and running us through them backward. And then opening a few closeted areas. Like literally no new additions, no even real new enemies for the most part, just kind of beefed up versions of existing enemies. And it was fun, but it was also just kind of like, really? You're recycling stuff like this bad? So it really wasn't until the next expansion that we got that actually added the Leviathan and a whole new location, whole new bosses, stories, enemy situations. And I think after that they came in with the Taken stuff and the moon on Mars. It wasn't quite as big of an expansion, and the enemies, honestly, to this day, the Fallen are one of the most annoying enemy types in Destiny. But anyways, that's another complaint for another fucking day. So anyways, there were hiccups. And then myself, I stopped playing for a long time when they stopped supporting Destiny on the PlayStation 3. They're literally doing the same thing, only, and I guess we'll find out, like they basically discontinued Xur, which kind of like, well, he's kind of your primary way of earning exotics by earning strange coins by playing Nightfall every week. It was a good system. It worked. You play Nightfall every week, you get strange coins. Then at the end of the week, you go buy exotics from Xur, so you don't have to be dependent on running all these high level campaigns or raids or whatever to get a chance at a good exotic. Uh, anyways, when it's like I said, you could still play Destiny 1 on PlayStation 3, but what was the point? You couldn't really earn anything other than legendary gear, or yeah, you could try to run all this really crazy hard shit to get exotics, but the easiest, most base way to get exotics was removed from the game, basically making it just completely unplayable to casuals. Uh, Unless you jumped to PlayStation 4. And so, funny enough, by the time I did jump to PlayStation 4, uh, not only had Destiny 2 come out and replaced Destiny 1, I ended up missing the Rise of Iron campaign originally in Destiny 1. I've got to play it since I've gone back to Destiny 1. But anyways, I jumped into Destiny 2 after all the major DLCs and everything had all come out. And I think at this point they'd even become free to play. So you had to buy the DLCs, but the base game cost you nothing. And so I jumped on, and I'm not gonna lie, I was impressed. They rebuilt your characters, added the new subclasses, abilities, uh, class abilities, which were just a huge game changer in regards to the real true dynamic difference between a hunter, a warlock, and a titan. I almost forgot that those didn't exist in Destiny 1, and it was like, wow, man, It's a huge part of those character class identities because back in the day it was mostly just kind of like, okay, well, here's your fast character, here's your armored character, and here's your, OP damage dealer character. But they didn't have your dodge, you didn't have your barricade, you didn't have your passive abilities through what is it that warlocks have? Anyways, the point is, it was a huge difference in those changes, and they were good changes. Um, and for the most part, despite all of that, Destiny 2 did really good up until the light. What was it? The neon bullshit on Neptune or whatever. It was just like, no, that was just a mess. The subclass was not bad that they introduced. That was actually worked out pretty good, but they made it tedious as hell to level all that stuff up. All the legendaries or exotics that were to be claimed and gotten through all that were just tedious as hell. It was just not fun. And it was just not that great of an environment. I mean, it was interesting, it was different, but mostly it was just the characters that you had to interact with were obnoxious and annoying. Uh, then you got Final Shape, and that was impressive. It was actually really well done story wise. Uh, Prismatic, love it or hate it, added a whole new dynamic to your abilities and to your build craft and to everything. And it then effectively gave you almost technically two different supers, basically. Um, but that said, the game has just kind of painted itself into the corner in regards to balance, the sun setting, the more recently the portal, and all of that just completely backpedaling and more or less, like I was saying for a while, it just to me felt like Bungie was deliberately sabotaging the game. Uh, this was also made evident when I forgot who it was. Actually, I think a couple of different creators did videos on this. I know Adscross did one. I think Fallout did one where they basically created a fresh new character, jumped in to see what it is, if how it is to a person jumping in Destiny 2 from ground floor, and creating a new character and playing your way through it. Well, it's amazing anybody joins into this game now. It's like I can see now why people, when you tell them, "Oh, Destiny's a good game," and they try it and they're like, "The fuck are you talking about? This game is terrible." And it's because, well, for one, they run you through a really rushed, butchered, half-assed version of the original campaign you played in Destiny 1 as you're, introduced to yourself, your character, and the world. And it literally just hands you a bunch of high-level gear on a silver platter. Doesn't really give you a full explanation of what the hell's going on, is immediately trying to get you to buy DLC. It's an absolute mess. You don't have, and on all fairness and honesty too, there was a big difference in the way, the overall vibe of Destiny 2 versus Destiny 1. Destiny 1 did truly feel like an MMO. It was really going for a first-person shooter MMO. It's, well, I can give you a perfect example. I'm in Destiny 1 right now. So probably one of the easiest ways to see this is when you look at how, say, weapons and armor are upgraded, and looking at, wow, look at all the different upgrade materials you need, in order to upgrade this thing. It's a lot. And if it's an exotic weapon, then it gets even more annoying because guess what? You need this special exotic shard. And I don't even know how to get those anymore. But anyways, for better or worse, that was streamlined in Destiny 2. But it was also more along the lines of like, you grinded your ass off in the early game to get purple level tiered gear, much less exotics. And you were basically rocking blue level gear for a long time. You were either earning this stuff through, what is it, through the main, oh Lord, why can't I think of the name? Uh, well, anyways, it doesn't matter. Um, you would have to go through different factions and grind and grind and grind just to get a single piece of purple gear. Or if you were very lucky, when you're doing a nightfall, you would get a purple drop. And think hopefully it would be a good weapon and a good roll, or a good piece of armor and a good roll, because they were rare as chicken teeth, much less getting an exotic. Um, but even just, that level of hardness of like a nightfall was man, it was a struggle, but it was fun because it was just hard enough to be challenging, but not so hard to be impossible. But yeah, you and a good team, if you knew what you were doing, you could get through it pretty easily. But it was fun, and Destiny 2 was doing that for a while as well, and then they stopped, and that change up really just messed things up. um, Probably one of the biggest mistakes they made when they went to the portal was the fact that, once again, they sunsetted. They made it to where if it's not tiered gear, it's useless. It's not worth even holding on to. I mean, you would literally get stymied in trying to make any kind of progress through your ranks, through the rank system, because you have to use all tiered gear, all tiered armor for these, playing through these particular events to clear this. And it's just like, dude, that's obnoxious. I should be able to use whatever the hell I want. And it's like, and I'm only handicapping myself by using non-tiered gear anyways. Uh, and it's just kind of, even tiered gear itself has made other stuff just kind of irrelevant. I mean, hell, I don't even use that many exotics and weapons in Destiny 2 because most of the tiered normal gear is better. Um, they're fixing to level the playing field with that, but still, once again, I think the only stuff that's going to be tiered is what you can earn now through the existing activities. Like, okay, all the stuff through Gambit is now going to be tiered. You can get tiered armor. It's going to have a unique armor set bonus. You can get all those tiered weapons. Same thing with all the stuff that you could earn through Crucible, through Vanguard. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. Destiny 1 Vanguard itself was a particular uh, faction that you would earn your stuff through. But anyways, I digress. Getting distracted again. Um, and so all those things are going to be getting, tiered loot now, which is cool. But at the same time, I don't think our existing stuff in our vaults is going to get tiered. It also sounds kind of like, too, if you use the tokens with Ada to get rerolls on your exotic armor pieces so that they have, say, the Gunner, Paragon, whatever stat on them now versus just the generic uh, stuff before the update. These are the ones that are once again going to be available for getting tiered. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing where, okay, you're going to get these tokens, you can take them to Ada and re-roll this armor again, or what the deal. We'll see, I guess, how they do that. But at the very least, it'll be nice to have actual, tiered gear, tiered legendaries. Uh, Man, it should have been how it was by default. Kind of bizarre they never even did it that way. I guess they figured it'd be overpowered. Who knows? But I guess the bigger thing is here is the real glaring white elephant in this whole situation, and it's the fact that, and I don't think, and from what it sounds like, it's not necessarily Bungie, or at least not their leadership, anyways. It's Sony. That they were already talking about, they recognized that Destiny 2 was done with the final shape. Even a lot of, I mean, to me, I had no problem to continue playing it, but a bunch of other people just like, okay, it's over, I'm done. It's like, okay. And Bungie knew they were going to do that. And so they were already pitching Destiny 3. They were already saying, look, we're ready to do something fresh with this and different. We painted ourselves into a corner, both gameplay wise and story wise. We want a clean break. We want to do, like we did with Destiny 2 from Destiny 1. Sony's like, no. It's like, okay, well, why were you willing to pay this obscene amount of money for us if it wasn't for the bare fact that Destiny has been one of the most successful live service games slash MMO, whatever you want to call it, since its inception, despite all its ups and downs, aside from maybe, I guess, what's that annoying Fortnite? It's been the one who's had this shit locked down the longest, despite everything. And it's like the current situation is just like, okay, like they've already, like a lot of people pointed out, the new IP Marathon, even though it's the brand spanking new game, has less players than Destiny 2, even though Destiny 2 is in the literal, in the worst shape it's ever been player count wise. What are you people missing here? You have a huge dedicated fan base. Yeah, there's a lot of people that drifted off, but they always come back. Every time Destiny Bungie gets their shit together and gets Destiny back on track, people fucking come back in flocks. And there's always the handful that never leave, because there's some people that are just diehard PvP. They play PvP every day. They don't even care about the story stuff. Uh, they're just here to play PvP. I know I used to be the same way with fighting games back in the day. I could play this shit every day, all day. Go to the arcade and play against people all day, every day. Never got tired of it. Um, Myself included, there were people that used to do that with Gambit because, well, you actually could get, gear that was relevant, but it was fun to play, especially after the rework. But once you got tired of, doing strikes or whatever, you had other things to do in Destiny. It's what made the game so robust and why even when shit got, slow, people were still playing. And anyways, it's just kind of like, okay, I think you guys are really missing the obvious here. It's like this is what was keeping this afloat. This was what was the bread and butter of fucking Bungie. And to sit here and like, sink everything into Marathon, and that's what everybody's just pointing out too, is they're literally going to try and turn Marathon into Destiny. Oh, we're going to add PvP and other gameplay modes. Yeah, you already had that in Destiny 2. And you already had a massive established player base. Yeah, it was just beyond dumb. It continues to be beyond fucking dumb. And they're tone deaf as hell. I mean, I don't know. I guess they just don't get online or something. It's like, I know they get on X, Twitter, or whatever the hell that shit is. It's like you can't possibly not know what people are saying here. Even the Sony people, I mean, these execs, these corpos, it's like they're the most tone deaf fuckers in the world. They're not dollar wise and penny foolish. They're just fucking absolutely batshit stupid. They don't live in reality, They don't understand how any of this actually works. They're looking at fucking, graphs and patterns on fucking bullshit, and it's like, what do you people even do for fun? You know, how do you under how you can't manage something that you don't understand. You know, it's literally that simple. If you're managing grocery stores, you have to, it's not just a simple matter of, oh, I can manage a store. No, it matters. Do you understand that you're managing a store that sells electronics versus a store that sells food versus a store that sells mulch? You know, it matters. Understanding what you sell matters. Understanding the product that you sell matters. Understanding its demand, whether it be something that's a necessity or in this case something that's merely, you know, entertainment. You know, it's not a necessity. It's something that people choose to spend their money on. And if you're churning out garbage, people are not going to spend their money there. You know, and when you burn people like this, they're not going to spend their money with you. People are already, like, we're already bitter against Marathon because of the fact it was blatantly obvious that resources that should have been going to Destiny were going to Marathon. Then with this, just adds injury to insult, and people are like expected to, oh, we'll just jump. No, we don't want to go to Marathon. And even if, and I'll put it to you this way too, even if it was a game that people actually were interested in, if it had more general mass appeal, just on general principle, I think a lot of hardcore Destiny people would just be like, no, it could be better than Destiny, and I'm still not going to play it on principle because of just this. But that's the cherry on top, is that it isn't. It's a very niche fucking game. And I mean, me personally, my opinion of it, I played it during the free trial there for the day or two that you could play it. And my brutal take on it was I felt like I was playing Apex Legends, but with just better gunplay. I mean, seriously, that's what it felt like. The whole thing of, oh, you get knocked down, and then, okay, well, there's nobody there to revive me. And then I just die, and then I got to start all over again. It's like, that's not my idea of fun. I'm not a big PvP person anyways, but if I'm going to play PvP, I like playing PvP where I'm in the game and I'm locked down for the whole fucking game. If I'm playing PvP in Destiny, typically, unless I am playing something like, and even that's not really a fair comparison, because even if you're playing something like competitive or Trials of Osiris, it's, yeah, elimination, knockdown kind of thing, but it's immediate. It's like most, you're not going to be laying there dead idle long before the next round starts. You're not having to end and start a whole new game like you do with this. The sweatiness, once again, it's one of those things, either you like it or you don't. There's most people just don't like sweaty games like that. And it also is just the absolute polar opposite in every possible way to Destiny. Destiny is all about building up your character, building up your progression, collecting and growing, and this whole idea that your character gets reset at the end of the season and you lose everything. It's like, well, what was the fucking point? Why am I even playing this? Um, anyways, people are going to say what they want in that regard, but it's just kind of like, for the most obvious blanks, obvious angle of this, it's just kind of like, once again, Bungie, Sony, you're missing the obvious here. How can you be so completely just blind? Anyways, they've already made their decision. What's done is done. And, I hate to be the doom bringer, but I think what's going to end up happening is that Marathon is going to fail. Uh, I think they're going to get, it's not going to be immediate. I think they're going to get one little burst out of the next season drop here, which is not far away. It's like a week or so away, which once again was a kick in the teeth when this update, to Marathon is coming out several days before the final update to Destiny, before we knew it was going to be the final update to Destiny. That was already like, okay, really? We're already kind of bitter about this, and once again, too, preceding that drop, they were unloading all this information that was going to be happening, in Marathon for that. And here we are still not hearing anything in regards to Destiny, other than we know we're going to get our update on the 9th, but we're not really even sure what all is going to be in there. So once again, everybody was just kind of like, this is not good. This just total silence, no real info all this time leading up. So, anyways, where I was going with this is okay. That's probably going to give Marathon a bump there for a little bit, and before that, hopefully slacks down. They're hoping to drop this new PVE mode in, and it could make or break the game. I'm going to say, just for the simple fact that I've seen them do similar things with Destiny, it could possibly pull it back from the brink. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just they've earned so much bitterness and ill will towards themselves in regards to how they've handled Destiny that uh, I think it's going to be really hard, to get, other than just complete noobs, people that are not familiar with Bungie and their stuff. I don't know. But I think ultimately what's going to happen is Marathon's going to underdeliver, and Sony's going to pull the rug and absorb what's left of Bungie into Sony, and Bungie will exist no more. But even right now, even with Bungie continuing to exist, it's been blatantly stated that, yeah, Destiny is pretty much done. The chances of a Destiny 3 are pretty much zero at this point. Unless something really drastic happens or somebody manages to convince Sony otherwise, yeah, chances of there ever being a Destiny 3 or a Destiny Classic like Cross was talking about, they're probably not going to happen. And, that's the other thing too, with the potential collapse and absorption of Bungie, it could mean a total, death of Destiny 1 and 2. Like I said, you can still play Destiny 1 right now. I've actually jumped back into it. Uh, you can, the way they're planning this, it looks like the idea is it's going to give Destiny 2 some replay, some means to jump back in and probably keep people satisfied for at least, a few more months. But after that, after everybody's earned what they can earn and, do what they can do, it's probably going to drop off pretty quick. Um, who knows? It's really depressing. It's really sad. And, it's not so much the fact that Destiny's ending because, it's inevitable. Everybody knew this game couldn't last forever. It's kind of crazy that it's lasted as long as it has. But it was just really kind of shitty how it was ended. It was just really fucking abrupt. They really misled people. The last two updates, I didn't buy the Star Wars expansion, and to me, it just seemed kind of cheesy. Um, Although, from what I could see, they did a pretty decent job with it, but it just really didn't appeal to me. The other game expansion part, I could care less about. Um, it's just kind of like it was just real half-assed, As a lot of people were calling it instead of Ashen Iron, they were calling it Acid Iron. um, but I'll take this final update and I'll make the most of it. I'm not going to be bitter about it. I think it's really just sad more than anything for the creators, the actual artists and programmers and the guys that are down in the trenches who actually been making these games all these years, who are dedicated and passionate about what they're doing and making, and they're getting the shitty end of the stick. They didn't get the big golden parachute. They got the rug pulled out from under them just like we did, only worse, because they're losing their jobs, you know, and that's fucked up. And it was all because of short-sightedness and corporate greed and just corporate stupidity in general. But anyways, that's a rant I will not get into because, yeah, I hate corporations. I think they're the worst thing to ever happen. They are just truly an abomination, and they breed a level of greed and detachment and just complete um, inability to recognize real reality. It's they're truly scary people. But anyways, I'm gonna drop the video on that. We'll be doing some more Crimson Desert stuff here shortly. Wanted to do a bit more detailed explanation on uh, once you get your golden eggs and your golden ore and making actual gold bars, and also the most efficient way to uh, farm biscuits. Um, Basically, there's a couple different ways you can do it as far as save scumming, but I think in general the best way is you just want to make as many as possible. To farm them that way, it's just more time consuming to do it the other way. And you're going to get some good ones one way or the other. I think it's just kind of random. But anyways, that's a different video. Uh, but anyways, uh, that's all I got for now. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy, whether you're playing Destiny 1, Destiny 2, Crimson Desert, or whatever. Hope you're having fun. Laters.